Yo boys, welcome to this video. Today I'll be sharing with you my top 10 tips for the Call of Duty Warzone. It is a BR 150 action-packed game. It is so good. Came out last week and I've been grinding it. It feels good, it feels fresh, not as campy as you might think. It is for free, so why not give it a try? This video is targeted toward new players all the way to intermediate if not advanced. It is packed with so many tips that will help you win more games. So if you're interested, enjoy. The first tip has to do with the way you parachute right after you leave the plane. Most of the people would straight up just dive down and just head to that place they want to go to, and that is totally wrong because that is the slowest way to get to that location. The best way to reach that location is to basically just open the parachute as soon as you leave the plane, and then you cut it off again, and then don't forget to dive, because that is the fastest way you'll be able to reach the ground, pick up your loot, and then of course have an edge over your enemies. The second tip has to do with the way you loot in game. Most of the loot you get from chests and floor loot is pretty much similar. That is not a bad thing because it's less RNG and pretty much people have access to the same stuff off spawn. However, there are other ways you can get loot that is potentially better. I highly recommend using one of the 3 available contracts in the game depending on your situation. A scavenger hunt is a really useful quest that you can do, and it pinpoints chests for you. Now this is most useful when you're playing the most passive you can, and that is most of the time when you're out of the gulag and you don't want to push anyone, you just want to play passive. There are no drops you can go to. This is really good. The second type of contract is a capture the flag mission. It is a passive aggressive one. You want to have some loot before you push it because it lets people know where you are. They might push you, and it provides you with some decent loot, sometimes plates, weapons and stuff, but it is really good when it tells you the next zone where it's gonna be, and that can be really huge. You can go camp it, you can be aware where people might be in that zone, you can play it in different ways. The third type of mission is a bounty mission, which I highly recommend you pick it up regardless of what position you're in the game. It is important for many reasons, but importantly, you'll have an idea where that enemy is. So you can push him, you can camp him, you can do whatever you want, and worst case scenario, someone eliminates him, you'll get some portion of that money. Now if you decide to push him, you'll get 3k, and that goes a long way. You just get a few more and you can buy a self-res, you can buy a drop, you can buy whatever you want. The third tip has to do with the way you set up your loadouts and how they can affect you in game. You can have multiple loadouts with multiple perks that are different, and then you can change the loadouts, which will change your perks in game. Now I highly recommend you have a main setup with overkill as a perk, which will give you 2 primary weapons. For me, I would run the M4 and then the HDR as a sniper, which is a pretty cool perk, but it's pretty useless. Once you get the drop, I don't need that overkill anymore. There is a way to get over that. Now you copy that perk and then you basically take off one of the 2 weapons and you change that perk into whatever you want. In my case, I want that ghost, so I'm not detected by thermals, by UAVs. It's pretty huge, especially late game. Once you're in game and then you purchase a drop, you'll get your 2 primary weapons with a overkill perk. But when you run into another drop, you can just basically buy the second one with the ghost perk, and then you can pick up your second weapon from the ground, which will allow you to have the ghost perk and 2 of your favorite weapons in your loadout. This is really huge late game when everyone has thermals and it's just a massacre at the end. My fourth tip has to do with the vehicles in COD Warzone. Now, not all just the weapons are good. You can just use vehicles to run over people and you get away with it. Vehicles are tanky, they can take shots unless it's an RPG, and you're pretty much good. You can just run over someone where they can't hide. Now, check this sick clip where I just dropped a chopper on someone. tip has to do with self-res. Self-res is a pretty good mechanic in COD Warzone. It's amazing. It allows clutch gameplay where you're down and you can just self-res real quick, and then team wipe people. They don't expect you most of the time. And it also backfires, you know, like if you down someone, make sure to thirst them down. It can actually, you know, cost you a win. My sixth tip has to do with the way you rotate to zone. Most of the time I see people just running into storm, and that is not good. The storm is lethal in COD Warzone. If you get caught without a gas mask, and even if you do, you have a few seconds and you're down. If you get held by a team, it's pretty bad. So, in my opinion, the best and the most underestimated way to just stay alive and then just live longer is to use vehicles to rotate to zones. It's literally free rotates. You can use a car, you can use a chopper, and then you can just basically get into that zone safely so you can get that victory. Now, choppers have a better edge where you can just basically land in a place where people haven't gotten yet, and that place can be really good, especially if it's like a high ground. My seventh tip has to do with overall awareness in game, especially sound, and the minimap on top, which can make a huge difference in game. You can pay attention to certain audio cues which let you know that certain events are happening around you that you can't see. Like when someone get rezzed, there is a special sound for it and you can hear it, whether that is your teammate or your enemy. So if an enemy is camping in a room and you hear the sound, that means the one you got downed is rezzed, and this is the sound for it. Also, there is a audio and visual cue when someone is doing the capture the flag quest. It's pretty obvious. If you pay attention to it, you can just ambush the enemy, free elim, free reward for it, and why not? Another sign that you might come across in the game is this flare, which signifies that someone has been rezzed, and you can just basically push that person that just rezzed the person before the other one comes down, and it's pretty huge. It makes a lot of difference, and it's a nice sign. Free elim, free loot. Now, if we take a look at the minimap, we'll see red dots whenever people shoot, and that is pretty huge. It gives out the location of people, where people are hiding. You can just open the map, pinpoint where the enemy is, and then just ambush them. To avoid that, you can just have a suppressor on all of your favorite weapons, and you just have it in your custom loadout, and whenever you use that scar, sniper, whatever that might be, you will not have a red dot on the map because you're using a suppressor, so you are pretty hidden if you want to play passive. My ninth tip for you is to basically have a UAV and or a strike near the end of the game. Now, this is huge because with the UAV, you get to see all of the people in the map. You'll see the red dots, you'll see where the enemies are, you'll see where they're camping. You'll be able to tell so you can position yourself better in that late zone. Also, with the strike, it is really huge, so you can basically just airstrike those campers on the roof. The airstrike is like one of the most overpowered things to have near the end, and you don't even have to fight them. You can just send an airstrike and boom, it's your win, especially if you're in a bad position. Now, I saved my best tip for last, and this is the heartbeat sensor. This is by far my best and favorite item in the game. It is really good. It is really overpowered. Definitely will be nerfed in the future. If you don't know what this is an item that you can equip in your loadout. Not all of you can have it. As long as one of you have it in a squad, you're good to go. This heartbeat sensor will detect the enemy's heartbeat, so basically it'll show you if anyone is nearby. Now, this is overpowered because basically if you're running next to a building and anyone is hiding in that building, it will let you know, and that is why it's overpowered. Not only if they are on the same story, but say they're on the roof and you're all the way on the floor, it will still detect them. That is why it's really overpowered. It has a long range, and it'll allow you to find those campers that basically just wanna camp. This is why this is the most recommended thing to have. This is the best tip I can give you. One of you on the squad should have a heartbeat. Now, even better, If you take a look at the heartbeat, once you see the numbers, you don't have to wait. That means there are enemies on that building. If you see the meter numbers, that means someone's heartbeat or in the area. You don't have to wait for the dot unless you want to know where that enemy is exactly. So that is why it's huge. That is why it's the last tip that I want to give you. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a like and share this video among your friends. And this is a game that is awesome. I hope you're enjoying it as I am. And yeah, have a great day.